This is clearly going to be between both in person and remotely, probably the largest crowd I think we've ever hosted on that. So, once again, thank you for your attending. I'd like to acknowledge two people I believe that are with us either in person or indirectly this morning. Commissioner Kimberly Overman, I believe may be with us somewhere, maybe in cyberspace. And then secondly, Vice Mayor Sherry Donahue. Maybe thank you, Sherry. Thank you for coming. This is the first hybrid event that the partnership has attempted to put on, and I think it's going to go quite well. There's a lot of interesting information to be had. We're very excited, obviously, to be sort of at the epicenter of what's going on in the Innovation Partnership, which is right here, and Rhythm at Uptown. So, excuse me, it's pretty evident if you've started to drive this area, certainly in the last year, the metamorphosis of what's going on in the neighborhood, and here at this location, if you can't see the crane in the east parking lot, you missed it. It's a big one, and there's obviously a lot going on down there. Our primary guest this morning is going to be Chris Bowen. Chris is the Chief Development Strategist for R&D Management. They are the ones who own this property, and he's going to be joining us by Zoom to give us an update on the property. In just a moment, we're going to turn this over to Chris, and on behalf of the Innovation Partnership and all of the community that's around here, we appreciate your interest in the real estate and what's going on from the business standpoint in this area. And thank you for your participation. At this point, Chris, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Randy. And I want to thank Simmons Design and Construction for always being a supporter of Innovation Partnership. And for many, many years, we really, really appreciate you. I appreciate Randy. He is very much an innovator, and he's always on the lookout to connect dots. He's a dot connector like me. So I certainly appreciate him and his team. But thank you again, Simmons, for you really supporting this organization. We so much appreciate that, and thanks for being here this morning. I wish I was at Rhythm this morning. Well, sort of. I'll tell you. Got some news. I'm here. I'm away out of town on some family business, but it's good family business. I found out, my wife Karen and I found out the other day that we're going to be grandparents for the first time. Our daughter Amanda, we call her Mandy, who is an attorney up in Wisconsin. Her and her husband Ryan just broke the great news to us, and we were really excited. So we gathered with her and Ryan this week. So on one hand, I apologize for not being at Rhythm because I really did want to be there with Ryan's team, but you'll understand. I know this group in particular. So anyway, to keep things going here, as Randy mentioned, our real estate briefing has always been a very popular and very important session with the Innovation Partnership and our members, and it's getting more and more so, and it's getting more exciting. I'll give you a quick update on in my corner of real estate, which is the Rhythm at Uptown project, the redevelopment of the University Mall property. First of all, you all know, everyone here that is in Uptown knows that the mall is still operating with I think even with COVID, we may be back to over 100 businesses again, and that's a big testament to the community to really rally together. There's been lots of initiatives with the Community Enrichment Lab, with Innovation Partnership and UACDC and many others, Crossover Church. USF could go on and on, that have really tried to help our local business people and entrepreneurs and keep them going through some historical challenges in our world and in our local community. Innovation Partnership has been there and will always be there. So we're happy to say that we have a lot of business going on that is community business. at the University Mall property. That is wonderful, and it is also challenging because now since we have all the zoning in place, we have all the plan development, master plan development approvals in place to design truly an innovation community that has research that is in companion to the USF Research Park and to Mosfet and VA and other great institutions that are doing groundbreaking work. We can support some of that research as well. That is in tandem with them, that is in cooperation with them, that helps them bring more players to the market, more resources, more profile nationally, internationally. That's what Rhythm at Uptown is really its main purpose. It's a catalyst. It's an accelerator. It's a lever for what is already here. And certainly the USF research, the USF academic programs, Mosfet and its healthcare programs, its research, Advent Health, VA, and then you turn around into the community, and you have University Area Community Development Corporation, you have Crossover Church, you have Underground, many others that are working really, really hard in the community, thankless in many cases, working without a lot of recognition, without a lot of knowledge from the general metropolitan area of how hard they work and the good work they're doing. We've been trying to bring those community players into the mix with USF. USF is moving into the neighborhood, into our neighborhood, and now starting to really lock hands with many of those other organizations, and bringing its buddies, the big medical players as well. And Innovation Partnership has been working as the glue, and projects and sites like Rhythm are platforms for everyone to play together and continue the great work they're doing, but working together, accelerating that work beyond belief, and really making Uptown and Tampa Bay and Hillsborough County a center of innovation that is really just extraordinary. I truly believe, and I think we almost had a little touch of that maybe about a year and a half ago, that when the cure for cancer is really, the real cure, all 360 cure, that the Uptown community will be in that story, will be a part of that. We will have scientists and physicians and administrators and all the way through, that they'll be a part of that history. They'll be part of that story. That will be a great day, and I think Uptown will be involved in that, and that gives you goosebumps. That's pretty exciting, and that's not exaggeration. That's real. And the more we push in our community to really support the organizations and the people who are doing great work, community work and scientific and healthcare work and research work and academic, all that tech work, to really support those people and build more companies. And that's what's happening. More and more new companies are being built. More mid-sized companies are starting to locate. And again, Rhythm is meant to be that place, one of those places. It's not going to be the only place. We need lots of places like this. But this is a big place. This is one that there's a lot of room to spread out. As as I think now, we have our first major crane on site in this development that has kicked off the master plan. So we have a master plan of probably hundreds of buildings, millions of square feet. And now that master plan is now approved for a mixed use urban innovation community, anchored by research and development, and as well as residential for that live and work, and then fill in all of the play and all of the activity and all the placemaking that goes along with that. Our first development pad activated just before in November and December of last year. And now we have a big crane on site. It's the first one in probably 40 years. It's certainly of that size. And it's the first non-retail project on that site in forever, ever. So that's important. And it's about a $65 million project. So if you're reading the paper and you see these projects, someone started a new $100 million community. Well, just the first project at Rhythm is 65 million, 6 stories, 600,000 square feet. And it has companion projects that are plugging into it. So it has over about 30,000 square feet of street activity. I call it, street retail, shops, restaurants, offices, right on the street, right direct entry, that's plugged into this $65 million residential project, and new streets. What is also coming with that and under construction is we're taking University Square Drive, which connects us. It's a private road, and it connects us at Rhythm to the USF campus. It's about four blocks long right now. And we're pulling University Square Drive into Rhythm to be able to connect with USF Research Park, with USF campus, with a lot of the medical players, and everyone else who's in the middle of that zone. It's literally, I don't see it as a street. I see it as a connector, like you would see a skywalk connector between buildings down in a major city. This road is a connector. It's a physical connector between places that are relevant and extremely important in our neighborhood and in our community. We're going to pull a University Square Drive all the way through our half-mile long property. So keep moving it west, and then keep developing on University Square Drive as this community unfolds. So the first leg of that University Square Drive expansion is underway now. And so there's a lot of utility work, there's a lot of road work, a lot of earth moving. And it's going to get interesting because we're not shutting the project down. We're not shutting the site down. Everyone who is at Rhythm right now, they're a part of the process of creating this community. And they're informing us in many, many ways. Some ways they know, a lot of ways they don't. But our eyes and ears are open. And we have some really great organizations on site that are really sort of specifically plugged in. So they know pretty much everything that's going on, at least as soon as I can tell them. But organizations like AMROC, our robotics, our Fab Lab, our robotics and maker space that keeps just getting better and better. That team is very intimate with our plans and what we're doing. But also Well-Built Bikes, certainly Innovation Partnership, Underground, the space that one of the spaces you're in today in the lecture hall, they're part of that. They created that originally. UACDC, that literally comes off and on our site in programming on a regular basis. And again, many, many others that are a part of the University Mall property, but also now a part of the Rhythm development as well. A couple quick things that I can announce. We were working hard toward the latter part of last year. By the end of last year, we had a greengrocer lined up and selected and agreed to. So we have a major greengrocer coming to Rhythm that will be a part of our neighborhood. We acquired all of the last piece of the old mall property. It took us 5 years to assemble everything back. But remember, when a regional mall is developed, almost all those parcels are cut up and parceled out especially to the department stores. So when we came in at the end of 2014, right at the tail end and beginning of January 2015, we had the first parcel essentially, and we had to assemble about a half dozen other parcels. We just assembled the last one, and that was really critical. We were continuing to develop, and we master planned and got everything approved while we were working on that final acquisition. But we just completed that in this Q1 of 2021. That's going to result in Burlington. We will be taking on the Burlington property as a partnership, and Burlington will be building them a smaller prototype space on the west side next to, I think that's where this grocer is going to go. So we're going to create a little bit of some community. Well, it'll be a lot because it's going to be about probably 80,000 square feet of retail development that will be integrated into residential and office and entertainment and placemaking amenities on the west side. We are also in the next phase of design and engineering for the old JCPenney's site, of which we did a lot of demolition, but it was very surgical. Unlike the Sears parcel that we tore down completely, the building that we tore down completely, that was mounted to several 100,000 square feet, we decided to leave the steel up on, or most of the steel and the concrete floors for the JCPenney building, and do a true adaptive reuse. We surgically cut off most of the skin, but we left some of the outside. But it was in tandem with the design that we had. So it was very specific design and engineering. If you see my background, this is the inside, one of the views of the inside of what's coming back, what's going to be adaptively transformed into, I'll make an announcement today. I'll give you an inside, don't tell anyone. Okay, don't tell anyone this, but this new 3-story, we're going to add a story onto that steel that you see out there. And we're going to create a mixed use office building, a Class A mixed use office building of approximately 200,000 square feet of new office space. And this central commons area that is probably another, it's probably another 15,000 or more square feet, with 3-story ceilings heights up to a large 360 glass cupola kind of design element. We're in the center, we're going to have sort of an explorers club. One of the properties I love and places that I love in Tampa is the Oxford Exchange. I think we all do. And I love it, not just because the building's beautiful and what they did with it is beautiful, but the people that come there and what it created as a gathering place for really wonderful people in our community and people who are visiting us. We're creating another one of those spaces. And it'll be different. It'll be different than the Oxford Exchange, but I bring it up because you know what that's kind of like. You come in and you have all sorts of people gathering, and you have the ability to sit down and do a little work, or sit down and have a chat. Wouldn't that be nice? And someday we'll be able to do all of that in a unfettered way. But and certainly by the time this is completed, but you'll also have amenities. Like you can get a good cup of coffee. You can get a little something to eat. You can see, you sort of have a show all around you of things that are going on. We're going to showcase technology. We're going to have sort of an explorer's theme in this one. And then you'll be able to take a co-working space. You'll be able to take full office space in this. And then this whole building will flow out. We cut through the mall a couple of years ago, we cut through the mall and created an 80-foot swath through it. Again, very surgically cut. Our demo team is phenomenal, how they slice through these buildings and they get exactly what we're trying to design, teed up. And we're going to have a new urban street. Think, kind of like Hyde Park or downtown St. Petersburg, that kind of a feel that will go right alongside the eastern flank of where the JCPenney's building once was and where this building is coming up. And they'll flow in and out, kind of like the waves in the ocean. I mean, these spaces and outdoor and indoor spaces will flow in and out and really create some beautiful moments and opportunities for people from all around the world, because Uptown is international. It really is a global area. And this is going to be amazing to have something like this, I think, in our community, to just get an opportunity to engage with people both within our community and around the globe that are drawn to Uptown and amazing people and places and organizations that are here. This building is going to be called Base Camp. So when you're working here and you're playing here and someone's asking where you're hanging out this morning, you can say, I'm hanging out at Base Camp. It's truly going to be a place to launch your dreams, your visions, your business, and to really have the resources and the people that can get behind you to help you get to where you want to go. Whether you're a young person in our neighborhood, senior citizen, a tech entrepreneur, a physician, a professor, whatever your role is, community developer, whatever your role is, this will be a place to start to look at the path forward and to explore different perspectives on that you might be hard for you to do without setting up a base camp, without bringing, charting your course, bringing the people together with you, understanding that the path ahead, it's not going to be all, cookies and candy. It's not going to all be easy. In fact, most of it won't be. But that's what the having a place in Uptown to join with all the other great players we have here and resources to be able to base camp and to plan ahead, strategize, gather, unite, then build and move and create and innovate. That's what this base camp will be. And I'm really excited about it. I get choked up about it. It's, it's hard work for all of us to create something that will be so meaningful. Not just, even not for you, even. That's not what gets you choked up. It's the people that benefit from this. People that you don't know, even more exciting, that you'll get to know, right? That's what these places are about. That's what I see on Fowler. I mean, I wish I could paint what I see in Fowler. I'm just not very talented in creating that picture. I have others working with us to do that. But what I see in Fowler, it's just what I just explained. It's just, it's a base camp. I mean, what's out on Fowler is Everest. And the view from Everest and the ability to say, you did it and you're there and you made it. That's what Fowler is to me. It's Tampa Bay's Everest. And, there's a lot of people that have climbed it and made it. And there's a lot of people who haven't, but they didn't give up. And you don't give up on Everest. And you don't give up on Uptown. and you don't give up on Tampa Bay. This is our place. And we have great places that are building here and have been built here. We're going to have many, many more. I'll give you one other announcement. And again, these aren't announcements. This is you and I talking. We'll have some press releases and all that stuff. Okay. But this is you and I talking. And so I, told you grandson's coming. Not a lot of people know that. So, it's good to come to these briefings. You find out some stuff. That the next office building at Rhythm is going to be called Base Camp. If I have my way, it's going to have a rooftop club in it that is, be there for having conferences and meetings and gatherings, but also having a nice bite to eat and maybe a beverage, and have nice indoor-outdoor spaces. If I get my way, that will be called Everest, that club. And then there'll be a lot of other dining, street dining and terrace dining within this zone. One of the other things that I'd like to say is that we just fortunately brought a great gentleman and individual that a lot of people are very familiar with in our community. We've brought his company and his involvement. He's taking into Rhythm. He's joined Rhythm this week with he and his partners, and he was drawn here because of the View Studio. And it's not just the studio, but it's the players within the studio that made the studio, that are building the studio. And it's not just a studio, it's extended reality. It's one of the players that is going to make a difference in motion picture production globally because of the technology they're designing and patenting and distributing and engaging the global markets with, and they're going to have a huge announcement, I think, coming up here, the first of many, because I think View Studio and Diamond View Studios, its parent, are truly the next unicorn in Tampa Bay, tech term for multi-billion-dollar company that started here, and I don't see how they could not become one. They're just too brilliant in what they do and the way they do it. It's just I'm in awe. But we've had someone who's fairly well known, was attracted to the View movement, and I think it really is. We've got an Uptown movement, and now we've got other players creating their own movements within the Uptown movement. So Thaddeus Bullard, some of you probably know him through his persona, Titus O'Neill, and his partners are now creating a space that is in the View Studio complex for their company called Good Guys Production. So Good Guys Production is now building at Rhythm. And the partners that Thaddeus has are phenomenal. And the work that he's beginning to do and has done over the years and is really beginning to accelerate now with the View Studio and Diamond View Studios, is going to be really something else. And he's going to do a lot of that work here at Rhythm. The other thing that's happening out of the View Studios is the technology and the players that work that technology of extended reality. Think augmented reality, virtual reality, real reality. I don't know what you call real reality other than reality, but all of those dimensions that can be created, both the one you're in right now and the one you could beam to in a blink of an eye. Those are all part of extended reality and the technologies, the hardware and the software and the robotics and a few other artificial intelligence technologies that are embedded in this and support this. All those players that are involved in that, yes, we all know that it's going to change. It's the next big thing in motion picture production. It's going from 1928, 29, 1930 silent pictures to talkies. That's what this is. So keep your eye on it. It's big. It's big. But what Mark and I have been playing and our team at Innovation Partnership and had a front row seat to is that it's not just motion pictures and the digital content that is created off of this. This is a huge opportunity for healthcare. It's a huge opportunity for defense. It's a huge opportunity for engineering, and our friends at the Institute of Applied Engineering, which is now fully embedded in Rhythm and is bringing some very interesting partners and players to the table. Not far from those of you that are on site today at Rhythm, just down the hall, you have the Institute of Applied Engineering, and it was essentially, we planted a seed. And at first I used to say that we're planting a redwood seed when Dr. Bishop used to tell me what he was doing. And now I think it's bigger than a redwood. It's definitely bigger than a redwood. I don't know what that is, but this is going to get real interesting. And what I think is so beautiful about this is that these players like the Institute of Applied Engineering and View Studio are attracting these other players. Many that they know and they work with, some that they don't. They're just catching the attention of some very interesting groups and people, and they're showing up. They're showing up, and the first thing they do is they show up and they sort of scratch their heads and they say, is it, it's like in the Field of Dreams, they say, is this Iowa? It's like, is this heaven? They kind of do a mix of that. Is this a mall? It's not looking like a mall. Is this an incubator? What is this? And then, they walk into a few more doors and they come out like jumping up and down and high-fiving. They basically are saying, this isn't a mall. I mean, yeah, there's a mall working in here, but there are 1,000 other things going on too. And that's what Rhythm is about. Don't get all hung up on what certain things look like or what they're performing at today. Because if you keep walking in and out of these doors and talking and sitting down with the people of Rhythm, you'll find out that this thing can be anything it wants to be. And in fact, it probably already knows what it's going to be. And for one, I'm doing everything possible not to get in its way, not to hold it back. And that's what I think we have to do for Fowler. We have to create it with Rhythm. We created some guidelines. We created we created a template on how it could start to formulate to be able to host greatness. You have to have some rules of the game, and you have to have some guides and some guidelines and some blueprints that you start to look at and get a better idea of positioning where you are and where everyone else is and what's coming and what could come. But you can't dictate it. You can't say this, these players are going to be here. These are the players we're going to have. And, it's, and that's it. You have to let it go. You have to set up those guidelines and then let it go. That's what we've done here at the University Mall property. That's what we're doing. That's what we need to do on Fowler. And I think several of you here today own pieces of Fowler. And several of you have businesses on Fowler. You're part of this. You're a big part of this. Fowler is our connection to all the greatness in Uptown. It's our connection out into the metro of Tampa Bay. And we've got to unleash, it was one of our old slogans of Innovation Partnership, and we've got to release all the greatness, all the good things, all the stuff, all the goodies that are here in Uptown. We got to release this into the region. And Fowler is one of the keys to that. We've blocked it out, what we're doing. Now we have to open it up. And there's a lot of this metro wants to come in here, but it's hard for them to get involved. It's hard for the nation to invest. That's what the real estate briefings, the last few, have been about. They've been about Fowler. They've been about things that are happening on Fowler, to be able to open up USF and its great research and its great players and one of the biggest medical districts in the state of Florida, not just for healthcare, but for research, more so for research, because that's the cure to cancer. That's the cure to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and these other deadly, terrible afflictions. I'm getting some messages. So we're going to start doing some questions, but that's we're getting some feedback, Tracy. That's what that's really what today is about. It's about just opening our eyes up, because Uptown is rising. And with that, I'll let our staff sort of guide me. I took you guys totally off your deal again. It's what I do.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations on the great family news that you received. We're going to, in a moment, we're just going to go through an update on all the major development projects that are going on, and we're going to hear from our executive director, Mark Sharp. But while we have you up, Chris, maybe we can try to take a question from the room and a question from Zoom. Does anybody here in the room have a question you'd like to ask Chris about rhythm at Uptown? Hands high in the air. Anybody? Okay, I've got one right here, Mr. Harris.
I'd like to know from Chris, in the new base camp development, there are a lot of retail players out there that has a big footprint, but it seems to me that Rhythm has taken on a life of its own. So are you looking for new retailers that have not even been discovered yet for your coffee shop?
Chris, you're muted.
Chris, you are muted. If we can check.
We're looking for everything that hasn't been discovered yet. That's what Rhythm is really about, but also to look at concepts, new concepts, and existing concepts that are continuing to be innovative and creative and relevant. So yes, that nothing is baked in that in terms of who we place there, and I think there'll be a number of opportunities for different players to be a part of that in terms of entrepreneurs and businesses and offerings. And it's not just that building; it's going to be 100 buildings.
Thank you. And we are going to have some time after the program to do some more discussion in the room and online, and we'll make sure we try to help you talk to people online and vice versa. Bonnie, I think we've got a question from the Zoom room.
Yes. Is university collections included in the Rhythm Master Plan?
Are you talking about the Winn-Dixie anchored shopping center?
Yes, that would be correct. Is that correct, Allison?
It is. And the main thing, I love the idea of the University Square Drive, but it's back of house, the connection between Rhythm and the university. So if something could be done on that to to make that an appealing drive.
I don't think you have to worry. I don't think you have to worry. I'm not worried about that, that peninsula between USF and Rhythm. That's, that's going to happen. And even those property owners, the ones that with the exception of the standard student apartments, I think all of that property can be anything it wants to be, and it will be. I'm not worried about that. No, I didn't. No, I master planned 100 acres, and which is larger than Water Street and Midtown put together. So and the other property owners didn't ask me to come over and master plan their properties. They may, and I would certainly put out my hand and help however I can. But I'm not worried about them. That, for instance, University Collection, that's a really good group of partners that own that property, and that you're going to see some amazing things from all of those properties between USF and here. I'm more concerned with getting getting Fowler from 275 to Rhythm, getting that organized and planned and developed in a way that is mixed use, urban, and it has a lot of ability to connect to the neighborhoods behind it. So on the south side, connecting to those neighborhoods and communities behind and integrating them into the Fowler corridor, which then gets them to Rhythm and gets them to USF and VA and Mosfet and all these other places. And the north side the same way. I'm more interested in that. It's about 0.9 miles. We have the Idea School that just took down a big chunk of space and is developing a beautiful school and campus. We have land alongside of that now for that to complete that block that is now available we're discussing with them to do an integrated development, play off of what Idea has, what Rhythm is doing, what others are doing. And then next to across the street on Nebraska, on that same side of the road, again, moving toward USF Research, is the Logan family. Mark and I had a wonderful call with that family. They are really an amazing group of people. They've been here for a long, long time. They really get it. And they have 30 to 40 acres and some friends that have some other pieces on that 0.9 mile stretch. And so we're working, it's really hard work. It's, to try and start to assemble the Fowler real estate, Fowler frontage, to assemble Fowler frontage back together like we did at the mall, but now do it with dozens of properties and assemble them back, have the property owners working together hand in hand, communicating, developing a strategy and a plan with the support of the community to create this cohesive corridor that is tapped into the residential neighborhoods alongside of it and around it. And to then, we've been doing some great work with Florida Department of Transportation, with FDOT over the past 3 years. And so to recreate Fowler as an urban boulevard, as a community boulevard that is connected, that is transportation oriented, that's happening. That's getting into design. So we have to pick up the pace. We have to start getting our owners, our landowners, and our businesses along Fowler from 275 to Rhythm and heading toward USF Research, which has the property at Bruce B. Downs on both sides of the southeast corner and the northeast corner of Fowler at the Bruce B. Downs 30th intersection. So you're driving Fowler from 275 up to the USF Research. and you allow them many, many options with their properties to join the party. And we're so blessed that they're there, you know, they're teed up, they're ready to go. But we got work to do. We've got to get Fowler replanned and reimagined, just like that old J.C. Penney's building that you're seeing, that is going to come back alive and, you know, before your eyes, and it's going to grow bigger and higher, and you're all going to be playing in it someday soon. That's what Fowler needs to be. That's the process that we need to have. It's going to, it's the process between, you know, east of Rhythm, between USF and Rhythm. That's a done deal. That's already happening. I don't worry about it. It's going to be incredible. And they're going to use the thunder of the Rhythm community. That's, you know, that's in the making right now.
Good news. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We'll have some more time for discussion after the program, but real quickly, I just want to go through and give you some updates on some of the major projects that you've seen already under construction and heard about. After the program, take a walk around Rhythm at Uptown and look around at what's already here. The Institute of Applied Engineering is just next to the elevators that way. If you go downstairs and walk down to the west, you'll see the AMROC fabrication lab there that's doing great things with working with kids and entrepreneurs in the community. Robotics and augmented reality game they've got in there, augmented reality dodgeball, where you can go in there and play dodgeball without getting hit in the face. It's great. We're going to hear from Mark in just a moment as well. So, if you keep walking down the west end of that corridor there, you'll pass our office is down there, Leiping Karate is down there, and Matthew's here from Leiping, and you'll see at the very end, if you take a left, that's where the View Studio is, and that's where so much exciting stuff is already going on. The picture you're looking at here, we're hovering above I-275, and we're looking right down the spine there. That's Fowler, and in this picture right there, just the projects that Chris has already talked about and that I'm going to mention briefly here. Well over $2 billion in development that is in progress and underway. And we've arranged this in order of, and of course, this isn't on. Looks like my battery died. We've arranged it in order of, if somebody could manually switch to the PowerPoint maybe. We've arranged it in order of completion dates. And the first one that we're going to start with, this is what you do when you turn on your clicker and you put it in your pocket. And after this is over, if nobody's done it yet, me and Tracy are going to patent a stick microphone that has a PowerPoint switcher built in so that you free up a hand. So put a pen in that. We're going to start with one that's already completed. This is Tampa Family Health Centers is doing so much in the Uptown area right now. Back February 1st, they opened up a new center. They moved the one that's on Fowler and 15th into this one on Nebraska. And if we could switch to the next slide, that's what it looks like right now. It's open. They're providing all their services and family medicine and other services right there. That means that the old Tampa Family Health Center building just a few blocks west of here on Fowler is on the market right now. At least the sign's still up in front of it. I looked this morning to make sure. And the next one that we're going to talk about is also, this is going to be open in August. This is the IDEA school, and it's the one that Chris mentioned when you turn off of I-275 onto Fowler. It's right there on the right. Used to be a big flea market. We can go to the next slide, and that's what it looks like a couple weeks ago, and that's opening in August. So it's almost ready, and it's going to open to grades K through 2 and 6 in the first year. And then they're going to add grades to make it a K through 12. And when that's fully enrolled, it's going to be over 1,000 students right there on that corner of Fowler and Nebraska. So when you go to the next one, we're going to go back to Tampa Family Health Centers. They're not done. They're a key partner in the Mort Community School. And on Bears Avenue, just to the northwest of Mort Community School, they're building another center, and this one is a $5.4 million project. That's about $12 million that they've invested in these two projects that they're going to open up to help provide healthcare access to the community. We can go to the next one. I think we're looking at here's the big healthcare here. This is the Teneja Surgical Tower at Advent Health. If you drive down the corner of Bruce B. Downs and Fletcher, you see this one rising up. It's a 6-story building that we can go to the next slide. It's opening up this fall, and that's going to have 96 private rooms. Really exciting thing about this is if you see the job creation, first year over 100, and by year 5, we're looking at over 1,000 clinical jobs there at the Teneja Surgical Tower. We can go to the next one. Mark will probably talk a lot about that later if you have any questions. He's been very involved with the Teneja Center. And now we go back south side of the USF campus. This is the USF Mix Lab research building. Allison Madden from the Research Park is in the Zoom meeting. If anybody has questions about that, you can talk with Allison. And this is what it looks like right here. It's they've topped it out already. It's on the corner of Spectrum and Fowler. And we can go to the next slide and see what it's going to look like when it's ready. Really exciting thing about this one is just look how close it is to Fowler, the floor to ceiling windows and the open rooftop just really lets you see into what's going on at USF a lot there. And if we can go to the next one, this one's out in Temple Terrace with a lot going out in Temple Terrace. This one's almost I-75 on Harney Road. If we can go to the next slide, this is a massive fulfillment center for Amazon. This thing I think is over, we can go to the next slide. I think it's over 2.9 million square feet. It's going to create 1,000 jobs, and it is going up fast. It's going to be opening this fall already. And if we come back west on Temple Terrace / Bullard Parkway / Bush Boulevard, we get to the corner of 56 and Bullard, and this is going to be a couple of projects right next door to each other. Waverly Terrace Apartments, 200 Class A units that are going up, and as you can see, it's pretty close to being ready. We can go to the next slide, and that's a $24 million project opening this fall. And from this perspective, if you just turned your head to the right, we'll see at the next slide, this is the Fountain Shops that's going up there on the corner of 56th and Bullard, and 5 separate buildings in this project. I think it's about a $17 million project, if we can go to the next slide, and going to bring another more than 100 jobs there. That perspective is right from the corner of 56 and Bullard. Shows you what it's going to look like when it's done. And Greg Pauley from the City of Temple Terrace is in the Zoom. Vice Mayor Sherry Donahue is in the room if you have any questions about any of those projects. If we can go to the next one, back into the medical hospital field, James A. Haley VA Hospital, doing so much in the area with research, and this is a new bed tower that's coming online early in 2022. I promise it's not as blurry as that in person, but it's nearing completion. And the great thing about this is it allows a lot of the veterans to have private rooms. Right now, a lot of have to share rooms, and this is going to give them the chance to have private rooms. If we can go to the next slide, they have approved right now 23 full-time positions are approved, but there's going to be many more than that once they get online there, probably comparable to Teneja based on the size of the building. And we can go to the next one. This one is going to be Yingling. This is where all the doctors and surgeons and researchers are going to be able to go to unwind over there in front of the front of the existing brewery right now on North 30th. Yingling has started construction. We had a groundbreaking a few months ago on their restaurant, microbrewery, beer garden, and I think meeting space is part of that initial wave. another 100 jobs. And this is going to be, I mean, just look at the renderings. It's going to have a lot of great outdoor space, open air, and eventually, in the picture on the lower left, you can see that a hotel is part of the long-term plan there, and that's in the background. And that is should be the restaurant and microbrewery and whatnot should be opening in Q2 of 2022. So a little over a year, we'll be able to go over there and unwind. We'll, you know, have events like this over at Yangling. We can go to the next slide, and I've got a sheet here. Okay, this is the Uptown Sky. This is a UACDC project that's going to bring affordable housing units and ground floor space that's going to be available for UACDC programming. $17 million project, 61 units for low-income residents, and that's expected to be completed in September of 2022. Jari Irvin is here from UACDC with Jim Caramello. If you have any questions about Uptown Sky, you can talk to them about it here. And the next one, I think, may also be a UACDC project, if I've kept my slides in order. If we can go to the next one. This is the UACDC Cultural Campus, just south of Harvest Hope Park, that was opened last year. If you haven't visited Harvest Hope Park, check that out. It's a great community space. And just south of there, the Cultural Campus is going to be a 4-phase project. First phase is going to be renovation of a warehouse to community meeting space. And I think there's also some affordable housing in that plan as well. So if we can go to the next one. Here's the one that's got me real excited. Bucks winning the Super Bowl had nothing to do with Tom Brady, because 3 years ago they got an indoor practice facility, and now USF is going to get one. So we're going to get a national championship about 3 years after this opens, and it's going to open summer of next year. So make your plans for 2025 to celebrate that championship. 86,000 square foot, $22 million project. Going to be on campus. It's going to help USF practice during the lightning storms in July and August when they start their preseason preparations. And I think we're staying on the USF campus for the next one. This is the Judy Ginshaft Honors College. That's over there northeast of the business school, across from the baseball, softball complex. And this is opening in fall of 22, a 5-story, 85,000 square foot, $54 million project. We've got the number of construction jobs on there. It's 500 to 600. And if we go to the next one, also on USF campus, a new student wellness center opening in fall of 2022, 3 stories, 47,000 square feet. And we'll go ahead and go to the next one and see where we are here. Mosfet, this is another huge hospital project. Mosfet Cancer Center is building on McKinley, right across the street from their outpatient center. This is what it looks like right now. It's well underway. If we go to the next slide, you can see that this is going to be completed in July 2023. It connects to the outpatient center with a pedestrian bridge over the road. It just looks fantastic. And the parking deck, there's a 3-story parking deck to the south of the building. And future, as Mosfet grows and the need grows, they can build another tower there in the future. So that's that wraps up the major projects that you're seeing in the area, the cranes, and just what I mentioned right there from those projects was about $1.2 billion in development. That doesn't include what's going on right here at Rhythm, which may be another $1 billion when it's done. Doesn't include, I don't think I had the project costs for Yingling in there. There's some other ones, IDEA. We didn't have that in there. So much going on, and that's just the wave that we're in now. These waves keep going and they crest, and things are really taking off. And as Chris said, the Fowler Avenue corridor is really going to be lighting up. And so I want to go ahead and Mark Sharp, our executive director, is in the Zoom with us, and I'm going to go ahead and let Mark take over. Mark has been working diligently on a lot of things, and I want to just let Mark kind of kind of, you know, let you know what he's been working on and some of the other exciting things that are going on. And then feel free to stay around and talk. If you want to talk to anybody in the Zoom, we'll try to make that happen as well, and vice versa. And then take a walk around Rhythm at Uptown. So, Mark, take it away.
Thank you very much, Eddie. That was a phenomenal overview. And I want to first thank our entire team. Bonnie Ingram has been amazing and is the glue behind this organization and keeping us connected. Tracy Ingram, he's the brains behind the organization when it comes to our tech advocacy and all the work that we've been doing in training. The Tech Hire program would never have been as the success it was without Tracy Ingram. Eric Larson, you know, you don't get to see Eric a lot, but Eric has been with me since I was a county commissioner going back to, you know, mid 2000s. And Eric has been administratively incredibly important in keeping this organization together. And especially as we've gone through the challenge of COVID, and I really appreciate all the work Eric's done. Eddie is phenomenal. Everybody's phenomenal, but when Eddie gets up and shows his excitement, and he's already now announced that we're going to win a national title here in football with this new facility that the USF is building. You know, I can't have asked for a better person to be working with us than Eddie Birch. And that presentation he made is very important because he's talking about over really $2 billion plus in development that's taking place in what is now the Uptown district. And so I want to thank Eddie for being part of our team as well. And Chris Bowen, our chair, we're not for COVID, we'd all be sitting in the room together, probably with Randy Simmons, squeezing into his office there in Telecom Park. And I want to thank Randy for hosting the very first real estate breakfast that we had going back to 2015. And we'd all get up at dark 30 and head out to Telecom Park. And if we were lucky, you might see some wildlife running around by his building. But Randy had a dream. And Randy talked about, you know, how this university area could be something very special. And Randy and I sat down when I first took the job, and he began to kind of talk about his vision for the university area, which is now the Uptown district. And I want to thank Randy for being an early believer and hosting all the breakfasts that we've had. And then again, Chris Bowen, who is our chairman. Chris is managing one of the most, every project that we have in the Uptown district is important. But the transformation of what was once the old University Mall into now Rhythm, that is the result of the vision of the owners of the University Mall, RD Management, and their patience and their willingness to invest, well over now $70 million to this project. People need to understand this group has invested tens of millions of dollars with a plan towards a $1 billion investment, and what you see behind me with the View Studio and all the other activity. But they've been quite a partner. But it's not just about buildings. Buildings are really important. I'm so proud when Eddie talked about the Idea School. That would not have happened had it not been for this group talking and saying, look, we have a place where we think that school would fit right. And from an old flea market, you now have what is a multi-million-dollar project right there at the base as we come into the district off 275. But it's the people who make this work. And when you hear in Chris Bowen's voice, the passion he has for this project and the desire he has to lift up the entire community, to make sure that as we build, we don't leave anybody behind. And we create a base camp for innovators within our district, within walking distance of the community, so people have access. That's really special. When I took the job, I was a county commissioner. I had been working with county officials, and I want to thank, Lindsay Kimball and Lucia Garces, and the county administrator prior to our wonderful new county administrator, Bonnie Weiss. Bonnie's a great visionary. Mike Merrill, who had the vision, along with Ron Barton and the county, thinking back to 2006, really, when we began work on the very first project with Mosfet, the M2 Gym project, the partnership between Mosfet and Merck. Where did that project go? It went on McKinley. And now, right across the street, right next to the outpatient center, which was built several years later, right across the street, you're going to have a 10-story, $400 million surgical bed hospital. That, those things happen, but they happen because of the work of people that, you've just begun to get to know. People make this happen. And that vision that we had from the county has now created what you're beginning to see. And as McKinley opens up and lights up, and you see the 10-story hospital bed tower, and then you look North Kinley, and you see the first new building on the USF Research Park since 2005. And that's going to be this amazing research facility that lights up Fowler Avenue, right there on the corner of Bruce B. Down and Fowler. And not far from that, the Yingling project that Eddie talked about, $65 million. That happened because of you and us coming together, and people like Chris Bowen, who had the vision to be able to say, this is not, and I'm only going to use the name that they used. When I got the job, they said, oh, Mark's going to go take that job up in that area. And they had a name for it. We are not allowed to use those words. What we came up with was a vision for a better place. And Chris began to talk about the Uptown district and rhythm where the old mall stood. And now this base camp that he's talking about. And that's because of people and imaginations and dreams. And now behind me, right behind me, is the View Studio, which is the result of the very hard work of Tim Moore and Diamond View Studios that believed in the university area. They had their headquarters on Barris Avenue. And we talked about what's the right location for a digital film studio, a next generation digital film studio. And it was Rhythm. And now you've got this digital studio, which can film a full feature movie. And they're expanding and creating a lab so that the technology that's being used here, we can train students, we can train young people, we can train the community on how the technology works. And they have partnerships now with the University of Tampa, and are beginning, or will be ready soon to make an announcement on a partnership with USF to train people on how this technology works. But we've got over 7 million square feet of space to be able to build out. And what happened when the View was built? Chris was able to announce that we've got the Good Guys production group coming in, Titus O'Neill and his partners, and they're right next door. So we're just beginning now to build a community. And this community is going to transform the Uptown district. And I believe this will be one of the most important redevelopment projects in Hillsborough County's history. And I also believe one of the most important projects in our nation's history. As we grow a community with people, Sherry Donahue and the city, Kim Oberman, our county commissioner, and others, the new Gwen Myers, the new commissioner, people coming together, Louis Vieira, our city council member, who's been an ardent supporter of this activity, the MOU that Eddie's been working on, the memorandum of understanding to build the strategic action plan that brings the city and the county and all of our hundreds of partners together to build a community, an innovation community right here at Uptown. And, that story, we're all writing our little pieces, and I'm writing a book actually that one day was going to tell this story, how it happened. I mean, I'm a lifelong resident. I was born at MacDill Air Force Base. I was born in Tampa. I grew up, and as a student going to USF, I would drive down Fowler and go, can't we do something different? And we're doing it. And it's because of people like Bonnie and Tracy and Eric and Eddie and Chris and Randy and our anchors and you in this room who, coming together, believe. And as a result, we're going to change the world for better. And I just want to thank you and all of our partners for what you're doing to make this happen. It's so exciting. You can see it in Chris's voice. You can hear it when he talks about it, the emotion that he has. That emotion is firing up a brilliance. And the brilliance is leading to transformation. And I want to thank everyone. And again, I want to thank our county partners for being part of this and being so patient and working with us through all the ups and downs. And we're just getting started. So with that, I want to thank you all and have a great day.
So we're going to go ahead and let everybody, thank you, Mark. Don't want to let you talk among yourselves. I think that's one of the big values of having this event, but I did want to just share that Chris actually just texted me that that he's ready to share that they do have Marriott, as they've reached an agreement with Marriott for a dual flag hotel that'll be right out on Fowler, kind of where the Sears Auto Care Center is. So that's another thing that you're going to see coming out of the ground very soon is Marriott putting in a couple of hotels there. And so just thank you again, everybody, for coming today. As I said, stick around, talk. That's the real value, and having these events is for you to get together and make connections. And we'll try to facilitate you talking with people in Zoom if you'd like, and take a walk around.